Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers panel. My name is Michael. I'm one of the co-hosts of the podcast This is from the Grid, which is a Power Rangers podcast that takes the children's show way too seriously.
Is that possible? That's not possible.
It's possible. We're about to release Turbo in the next few weeks. We're going to release the panels of here at Ranger Station in the Turbo season. So joining me here for the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers panel, starting to my immediate left, we have the suit actor for Goldar and also known as stuntman for the Power Rangers, particularly the, I believe, Green Night Ranger, Nguyen. Next up, we're going to go to the other end of the table where we have the mentor, Zordon himself. And then in the middle, we have the one who we all want to boogie down with because she's boogie with a bear, Aisha herself, the old Ranger paramedic. So, right off the bat, this is a panel for you guys. It's not really about me asking questions. So if you have questions, please raise your hand. I'll get to you. We'll get it going. But real quick, first question, while people figure out what the questions are. What's it like being here at Ranger Station in Philadelphia? Karen, I know you were here last year, so this is a return for you. But what's it like to be here for you guys, being able to interact with the Philadelphia crowd?
Hello. This is actually my first time here. So I think it's great because you know we work our butt off on the show. So it's so great to see people coming in and say, "Oh my God, you guys are trying to thing," and I'm getting chills when I'm talking about that. And it's nice though. I thank you guys so much. And being here, it's been hot.
I came from Texas expecting it to be cooler, and no.
You know what? It's been amazing. I think, the show is growing and growing. And I love, Ranger Station. I love supporting any kind of Power Ranger during Comic-Con. And thank you guys for coming. It's been a fun, warm day so far.
Totally. It's always fun to come out and to meet new people and to hang with friends and just reminisce about something that we all share in common. So it's great.
Also, the funniest thing is this is my first time I met you,
yeah.
And we work on this, we work on the set. I was in Goldar scene. I got to meet Karan. He was the voice actor.
Yeah.
And so it's funny. It's the Power Rangers. It was so huge. You get to meet all these different characters. You didn't know that they worked on the show.
Yeah.
So it's kind of amazing. And when we talk about stories, you're like, oh yeah, I remember like that. So it's kind of interesting for me too to find all these stories. I'll tell you a story about her.
What?
Yeah. I remember the first time she came on the set with Johnny Lodge. I don't remember. I was in the Goldar scene.
Okay.
And these guys were so nice. They had chairs. They didn't even sit in the chair. They kept on asking me, "Would you want some water? You need something help?" She's been so nice. And I'm so glad that these guys are the true Power Rangers. They really are. You do? Your first day, right?
Look, we got Power Rangers out there sticking their tongues out at us.
So do you guys want one more guest on this stage?
Yeah.
So, you want to come up? All right, so ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jason A. Frank's daughter, Skye.
Big stage.
Wait till 5 o'clock when they do the space panel.
Okay, like this. Everybody, share the microphone.
Might be very careful.
What's up, everybody? How are you guys doing?
Stunt right there.
That was rehearsed, you guys.
I've literally worked for a professional wrestling company, and that's not the worst thing to happen. And we got that on camera, right? Okay, good. Everyone, that will be up on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, all the things.
Pratt Falls 101.
So actually, I do want to say, everybody that's on this panel right now, these are some amazing people. They have been there for me through thick and thin, and honestly, that is the true definition of power, is being a kind human being and being so loving like the three of you have been to me. So I just wanted to tell everybody that, and I love all of you guys so much. And I love you guys, my favorite family.
She looks just like her dad. Like crazy, right? Same face.
So, any questions from the audience? Out there.
What's your favorite season that's not the Zordon?
Not Zordon.
Not Zordon. I've never seen the show outside. I've only seen a few Mighty Morphin episodes. So it's one of those things when you're an actor, you know, it's weird to see yourself. And you almost become like, you overanalyze things that you shouldn't overanalyze, right? So I didn't watch ours, so I thought, well, if I didn't watch ours, I'm not going to watch the others. But I hear there's some really great shows, and they're really great. And the funny thing is, most of the actors haven't seen ours either. So it's one of those things where you're like, well, I was there, you know? So I don't know, but I hear Time Force is really good. I hear that In Space is really good. People love it.
In Space is Zordon.
Yeah. Oh, outside is where I'm at. Oh, I don't know. What is not Zordon?
So now
You die after In Space, right?
Yes.
Okay, so Time Force. Time Force.
You know what's funny about you guys too? It's like you can actually you tell us stuff that we don't even know, right?
Yeah.
We're like, oh, do you want to know what you did? It goes, I think so. And it's amazing that you guys have so much detail on certain things that amazes me. You know, 'cause we were young, weren't we? We were young and we were motivated. We didn't even know the show was going to be that big. You know, and so here we are. 30 years later.
I really enjoyed Time Force, and this past last iteration of Cosmic Fury was a lot of fun too. So.
Skye, I'm going to take your question and I'm going to modify it slightly. What is your favorite Power Rangers season that does not involve your family?
Oh, man, that's tough. Okay.
And you can't,
I will be
you can't use Super Mega Force because you appear in there. You can't use.
Do you want the honest truth?
Honest truth.
Okay, this is the honest to God truth. I'm 25 years old, so growing up, I was too young at the time. So like, I didn't really watch Mighty Morphin growing up until I was a little older. When I found out who my dad was, my all-time favorite is the movie, of course. I agree.
The 95?
Yeah, that's my all-time favorite. Other than that, I didn't watch any
Good.
other
I'm glad you
season.
didn't make a show.
Yeah. I know all my friends here, I know all of them, but I didn't watch them on the show. I love you guys, though.
That's good, though. I think that's good.
I was at home watching Jimmy Neutron.
This is
I like
also
that. I like it.
Next question.
You just heard the Zordon era. What is it like when you look back at it and thinking about how you understand that the character that literally is defined by the entire era of the show?
It's very humbling to be a part of a franchise that has lasted so long and has touched so many people. So to have the moniker of the Zordon era is it's something I always try to respect and to live up to, because it's very important to the people that watched it to maintain their memory of it. Even though I was not there for a lot of it in person, my face was there throughout the entire week, but I always try to maintain the as I said, just try to maintain the respect that the fans had for the era, and just try to live up to their expectation of what it's all about.
Who here watched the movie, the first movie? Who cried? Who cried when that happened?
I would have cried too had it been me. But it wasn't. Karen, for you, what's it like to know that you played a big part in the Zordon?
It's insane. I mean, like, this is the thing. You're an actor. You're trained this to, like, oh, if I could just land the job, if I could just get a job. And I landed the job that, like, we got a TV show. 30 years. Now your kids are watching the show. It's insane. I have a 3-year-old niece who is like obsessed with Power Rangers. And I just randomly sent my niece like a clip, like, you know, fans will put together like montages and stuff. Someone had sent me a montage of Aisha just fighting, like different fights from the different episodes. And I said, show her this. I think it'll be funny. She's old enough now. Now she's obsessed, like obsessed. Like she literally is like, I told her we were going to make her a ninja costume for Halloween. She goes, I want the suit with the helmet. Like now she's like bossy and like she's completely an Aisha. She's bossy, she's sassy, and she's like now going to be the next generation of kids that love it.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because that was Karen's first job out of the gate. To be cast in a show that was already rocketing up, and my first job in Hollywood was being cast in a show that became like a pop culture phenomenon. So it's just like Karen said, it's insane sometimes. It's crazy.
So you mentioned your niece. Which power come? Saber-tooth tiger or the bear?
What does she like?
Yeah.
I don't think she knows it. Like she just knows yellow. Like she's like, I'm yellow. I'm yellow. And what's even crazier is her brother. He's older. My niece is crazy. She has like an 18-year-old and a 3-year-old. And I was like, what are you doing? But when he was a boy, he was the biggest Power Ranger fan. He was all about Rocky. Like he was like, everything was red. I want a red. Instead of saying red, he goes, I want a Rocky. I want a Rocky. So now it's just so crazy that now his little sister is exactly like him, and they're the most obsessed. It's like when I call them, it's like I'm talking to Barbara Walters. Like they need a full on, they need to know everything that's going on. She called me earlier and I showed her at the Comic-Con and she was just like, in love. I got it.
Next question. You circle back to you.
So you brought up how this convention has grown. I'm just kind of curious, when you guys are starting out to see this new era of pop culture become what it is, what do you feel about the way cons have become what they are, and do you think they'll continue to grow as time goes by and your age evolves?
It's insane. I mean, we literally, I remember Jason Frank and Steve calling me. It was like 17 years ago, and they were like, Karen, you got to go three-way. They were like, you got to come. There's this Comic-Con that wants us. And I was like, what is a Comic-Con? I had no idea what it was. And they're like, you know how they have those conventions where the Star Trek people are and the Star Wars and all the fans come. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay, let's do it. And we went to Chicago. It was either Florida or Chicago. I get confused. But we went to Chicago and like literally people stood in line for 6 hours to meet us. And so I was like, whoa, like this was insanity. But even then, like we would do 2 or 3 shows a year. We were like, oh my God, this is so great. Jump to 17 years later where we're doing like 30 shows a year. Insanity. Your dad, like Jason Frank, like was at a show every single weekend of his life for the last 15, 20 years. Like it was just insane. So to see it like with just the industry alone, like where you have just only a couple shows a year, and now you pick a weekend, you pick a city, there's a Comic-Con happening. I mean, and literally it's not just in America, it's all around the world. We're traveling all over. It's just so cool. And what I love about cons is that it's like the weirder you are, the cooler you are. So I'm loving the fact that all us nerds can get together and just be ourselves authentically. You can cosplay, you can be weird, you can be introverted, extroverted, it doesn't matter. You belong in here, you know, and you have a good time. People have all new friends, friendship groups now because of this. So it's just a really beautiful thing.
What's it like? You mentioned like you doing all these shows. What's it like? Going through this doing a Comic-Con, which is like more diverse about every type of guest that there is, and to doing Power Ranger specific conventions.
Well, this was it's like a family reunion, you know. I mean, we were all at Power Morphin a few weeks ago, and they were at Range Stop and Pop this past summer, and it's like it's insane. Like when we all get together, it's just so much fun. And I think anybody who's worn spandex, who's been in a costume, like he said, they worked us 12, 15-hour days in the blazing hot LA sun. And for us to be able to all come together, and there's all these different generations of Power Rangers now, it's just so cool. And like all these guys in here are like my family, like sisters, brothers. Like when I walked in this morning, we just You know, that's the beautiful part about Power Rangers. I think that hope, that inspiration, that every weekend we can make people smile.
I think it's also great, as a stuntman, we usually don't get recognized because we're in the suit, number one, and it's just like, oh, we're expendable. Yeah, they just do their stuff. But now I just noticed so many people come up to me and go, you the stuntman? Really? You did that? Oh, you're the one who messed up my ankle now. You're the one who I had to look at.
You did that corkscrew kick in the movie. That was it, like on a wire rope.
On the wire, yeah.
Like, insane.
Yeah. Also, I remember we get injured too. Some of us get injured, so it's not like everything's all safe. You know, we work really hard. At the same time, they're like, okay, just do it this way. Like, what? And you just have to do it. But you know, like I said, we were young and we were motivated, and it's just everything is lined up. And think about it, the concept of Power Ranger being a superhero. Who doesn't want to be a superhero? You know, I think we started before Marvel Comics started or something like that. Right?
So interestingly, Saban brought Spider-Man to Japan in the 70s with the idea of trying to bring Sentai to America in the 80s. So it was a very long journey to get the Super Sentai footage obtained to finally do Power Rangers over here. So just to give a little perspective, so look it up, Spider-Man in Japan, it's really crazy.
Yeah, talking about that, we use, I don't know, it's not a big secret no more, but we use Japanese footage. But that still didn't mean that we had it didn't work.
There's still so much to like, because you think about it, there's only so much, right? And so for it to make sense for our episode, these guys will be shooting just to make it all go right. And especially like when we had a certain villain or a certain storyline, like you couldn't just take it and make sense. They had to shoot a lot of stuff to fill in the blanks and make it go. And then they were not just like Rangers, they were putties, they were the monsters, everything.
And craft service too, we did craft service.
Pretty much. They did it all. Well, they did all the hard work so that we didn't get hurt, you know. So it was like the big thing when we got on the show was they can't get hurt. I think like VR troopers were shooting right next to us, and he ran and broke his leg, and so they were like, oh no, the Rangers cannot get hurt because then the show shuts down.
Yeah.
So these guys took a lot of bruises just so that we understand. Thank you.
I'm still hurting now.
You had a question, and I saw the girl right there at the Pokemon on her hand. So really.
First, I want to say, I enjoyed your performance in my show.
Thank you.
My question is, as for expectation of the success,
Did you take what? I'm sorry. I mean, it's like we did once and always. It was like what number 1, I think number 2 or 3 on Netflix. Like they did not expect it. I think it was number 1 for like a day, and then it went to like number 2 or 3. But either way, like we were getting emails from the executives at Hasbro, and they were like, "Oh my God, look how great it's doing! We're so proud! Congratulations!" And so they didn't expect for it to do that well, but I think they realized that Mighty Morphin has that nostalgia cred that, you know, I mean, I would say we got the party started, you know? So, I mean, they got the power, they got the money, they could do it. I thought that they would have done at least done a series, even if it was just a shorter series, just to kind of give you guys what you've been wanting for years. Who knows? They, you know, as far as, you know, the production company shut down, you know, they're going to do something different. We don't know anything for sure yet, but I think if anybody can do it, they can. So you guys just have to demand it. I mean, you guys demand some things and it happens. So start writing them letters. We got enough talent, right?
So I saw you had your hand up. Did you want to ask a question? Hold on. Let's do this. This time I didn't fall off the stage.
That's my little friend right there.
Why did you pick the Yellow Ranger?
I didn't get to pick. I wanted to be the Black Ranger, actually. I begged. My favorite color is black. I love it. And they were like, no, girl. We've gone down that road, and they got mad at us for making the black boy black. We can't make the black girl black. So they were like, you're yellow. Girls are yellow. And I was like, oh. And yeah, it was the whole thing. But I remember being in the room where they had no idea what color we were. And they had to call the office and go, so what color are they? Like, you know, we were in the dressing, we were in the wardrobe room. Johnny and Steve for like at least a couple hours didn't know know if they were gonna be black or red. And finally, someone made the decision what color we were, and the rest is history. But they didn't let me pick. If they would have let me pick, I would have been black. I know Johnny. Oh yeah, see, we would have been back in the same room.
Or not.
Steve
I'll tell you the story is I actually went out as an actor for the Black Ranger. We had a big cover, all the lines, we had to do the audition. So I get in front because they knew I worked at Stunt. And so I auditioned it also for the Black Ranger myself.
You and Dan Southwood.
Yeah, Dan Southwood.
Dan Southwood.
The only Stunt man, yeah.
Any other questions?
In Cosmic Fury, Zeno was the mermaid for Rhino Fleet. And it's become a Morphin master, and they said that, and Billy came back. And he said that they're on, we tried to always bring Zordon back, and offer Zordon, that Zeno became Zordon.
Really? That's a cool story.
Do you think that would be true?
Well, Zeno does have the line, there was something I used to say in times like this, oh yes, may the power protect you. So I think they implied very heavily that if he wasn't Zordon reincarnated, Zordon was sort of speaking through him at that moment. I thought it would have been very cool that they contacted me so that that I could have had said that line with him at the same time. So you got the double voice, so it would have been cool.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, she's here. She's the suit actor for Alpha, Sandi Sellner.
And I'm just going to scoot over here and I'm just going to sit down.
So, yes, you'll be Green Ranger for your question.
It's actually the same. Karen?
Yes.
Even though I'm so attached to Walter and Johnny being the Black Ranger, I still think you would have chosen as the Black Ranger.
Oh, you know what? I honestly, once we were on the show, I got why Aisha would know. Like this is the personality and the things that they look for me. And for her, yeah, it was like she was such a ray of light and such a positive girl, you know. And so I'm glad it ended up being yellow. They knew better than I did. Although I would have been I remember recently I was talking to some of the Boom people, and they were like, "What do you think about a woman, a black girl being the Black Ranger?" I'm like, "Black is beautiful. Like, Wakanda forever. Black is powerful. Like, let that woman be black. Like, I think it would be amazing." They never did it, but they were at least, I know, at one point, Hasbro was toying with the idea of making a female black. So I was like, yeah, I think it would be good.
So have you read the comics at all? Because in the Boom Mighty Morphin, there was actually a storyline where the Rangers were on a planet that actually changed their color. So you had Trini as red, Jason as yellow, and then I don't remember the other ones because obviously the whole thing with that was they're putting Trini and Jason in a relationship at that time. That's why that one was really memorable. But did you ever think that you maybe because now the comics and stuff like that Hasbro has some now new material that they can work with that they can eventually maybe get action? So black, well, we can't be a Black Ranger and stuff like that because now it kind of exists in the universe how it would be in the comics.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what's so great about the comics, that they have, sky's the limit, right? They don't have the rules that the Super Sentai show kind of dictated. And so now they can do a lot more things. And they actually explain things that I felt like the TV show they just kind of threw some things at you guys, and they gave a deeper explanation for a lot of things. So I love what they're doing in the comics. Absolutely love it.
So, Karen.
Oh, wow.
Karen.
Last year we couldn't talk about something.
Yes.
And we couldn't talk about Once and Always because literally the day before Ranger Station happened, the SAG strike began. Y'all booed me because I told you we couldn't talk about it. I accepted it. But this time, let's actually talk about it in full because in Twin Cities that same in 2022, I had to bleep out Johnny talking about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he just moved his mouth and I just went bleep. So let's talk about it, because I know people probably have some questions about it and stuff like that. So real quick, how did that 30th anniversary special come about?
It was tricky, especially for me and Johnny. They originally had kind of proposed that we would just do, we go to a studio in LA and we would just shoot. And they were like, oh, we're going to shoot for an hour or two. And I was like, no thank you. And they were like, what? Like, I don't think they thought that I would turn it down. But I was like, absolutely not. Like, they were like, no, it's a special story. You don't want to say no. You should be a part of it. And I go, exactly. I shouldn't be a part of it, but we should be a part of it the right way. And I had to actually write a letter to one of the producers and just tell her, like, I'm like, you're doing a love letter to Trini. Like, oh my God, I wore her suit. Like, it wasn't like I got a new costume when I got on the show. I literally stepped into her shoes. Like, literally. We had the same boots, same costume. They just altered it to fit me because I was shorter than her. And I was like, I just think it's an injustice for all the fans and my Morphin that if we're going to do it, we should all be there. And so they were like, it fell on the desk of one of the female producers, and she actually called me like the next day and was like, I understand what you're saying. I think it's great. She goes, what could we do to get you to do it? And I said, well, we need to be, I gave her the list of demands. Like, I wasn't even trying to be, I was trying to be an asshole because they pissed me off. I was actually, well, this is the thing, and the backstory is that they asked me back like maybe 4 different times. But every time the casting director would call me and she'd go, they need you, they want you, blah, blah, blah. And then right when we would start talking, working out the deal, she would pull it off the table and go, oh, they don't need you anymore, never mind. And like, this was for the Beast Morphers thing, this is for the Mega Force thing. Literally, I've been asked 4 times. So I had enough for her. And so that was part of the letter too, where I'm like, this is insulting at this point, where now you want us back, but you want us to go. And I said, no. And I go, if we're going to do it, Johnny didn't even know I was doing it. So I'm like, if we're going to do it, we need blah, 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 blah. And this is a story for all of you to learn from. Don't be afraid to ask her what you want, because an hour later she called me and she goes, it's all yours. We're find a flight, we're booking your ticket, you guys are coming. And I just told her, I said, it is an injustice. This is the thing. I was like she passed the baton to me, so to speak. Johnny, it was one of the first Asian people on the show. It's an injustice. He needs to be on this show. I was like fighting for everybody. I was like, Golden Soldier, everybody should at least be asked. But what I understand, all the Rangers were asked, and then they were only able to do what they could do. The only thing that we didn't get, which I did try to fight for, was that me and Johnny had a little bit more. I was like, it makes no sense. We're in New Zealand. Why can't we should be there. Like, even if we show up at the very final fight and just help, like, just contributed anyway, I think the fans would just die that all the team came together and made this happen. And that was the only thing they couldn't change, because they had already, like, shot part of it, and they were like, oh, it was a bunch of stuff happening before we got there. So, but we got everything else. So I just always say, you gotta ask for what you want. And luckily, the female producer, like I said, she was like, she got it, and she was like, I'm sorry. All of a sudden, we were getting our flights booked. That casting agent called me to apologize. And I was like, I don't need an apology. Like, do better. But that's kind of how they've always been with the former cast members, is that they kind of don't, they're not nostalgic like you are. Like, you guys have this dream of us all being one happy family. They don't care about that. All they look forward to is the future, the future, the future. So they don't, they kind of treat us bad in a lot of ways. And so I just kind of was like, enough is enough. And it worked out. So it was tricky for me and Johnny, but we got there.
Skye, I'm going to hand the mic to you soon. But he moved the mic in, but I'm going to hand the mic over. When you saw the end of Once and Always, how did that make you feel? Because you mentioned, Karan, that this is a love letter to Trini.
Yeah, and we didn't realize at that moment.
I don't think that when Once and Always was released, was my dad alive?
Well, when we shot it, he was.
Well, okay, so when he shot it, my dad was alive. When it came out, my dad passed away. So, it was hard. It was very difficult for me to watch that, especially in the beginning when the fell off the cliff and then like she disappeared. And, like I kind of, it was hard, you know what I mean? Unfortunately, my dad was alive when they shot it, and I'm sure if this happened during the shooting, they would have, you know, done something for my dad.
But how did you feel that the film that they actually did?
And that was beautiful. I cried. It was very emotional. Obviously, and anything about my father's passing was very emotional to watch. It was a beautiful and emotional at the same time because I'm here only off the strength that my dad was an amazing man and a great actor, and he touched so many lives. And because of who my dad is, who my dad was, and the legacy that he left behind, it gave me an opportunity to still sit here with these amazing people and still talk about the legacy that he left behind and the things he did.
So, Karen, because you're a big part of Once and Always, when Jason did pass away, what were those conversations like? Because you guys already had an emotional love story with Trina.
Yeah.
He had passed in 2003.
Yeah. Well, up until until a couple weeks before they started shooting, we thought Jason was going to be there. Because we know that he had said yes, and then he said no, and then he said yes again. And so we thought everyone was doing it. It wasn't until really up until us that we were about to leave that we found out that he decided not to do it. So it was kind of a bummer. I mean, I thought man, this was the one time we could have all kind of got together.
Because you didn't have Austin or Amy.
No, yeah. We knew Amy from the very beginning that said no, and then I know they asked her to direct. She just has never wanted to do anything really associated that deeply with the show anymore. Like she feels, I don't, you'd have to ask her. From what I understand, she feels like she's kind of done that, you know, and she's looking forward to other things in her career. So, yeah, I mean, we knew Austin wasn't going to make it, we knew that he wasn't going to make it. Jason was still on the fence. So like I said, we shot the show, we all knew that it was like a love letter to Tree. It wasn't until months later, probably 2 or 3 months later, that he passed away. And then obviously that was a complete and total shock to everyone in the fandom. We were gutted. Everyone was gutted. I mean, we still are. I think we are just not even, I don't think we processed it fully yet. All of us just are kind of going and, I literally say, I just think he's on a different pond and we just haven't seen each other yet. Because that would be the case. We'd all be in different cities. But we had no idea. We knew they then told us they were going to do some sort of tribute to him and to Trini. We had no idea what they were going to do. Thankfully, they had a screening just for us, privately, so it was just the cast. We all went to Netflix, watched it, and at the end, we saw it for the first time. And I'm so thankful that we were all by ourselves because we were able to just process it in that moment. And I thought it was so beautiful. It was I think I'd seen a clip of that episode where they were singing, but that song was so fitting and it was so perfect. And I just thought whoever thought of this, they really did it.
And it was a creative way to get easy into the show.
Yeah.
So, Sandi, you got introduced, we haven't heard from you. So, let's talk about Alpha. What was it like being Alpha on the show?
It was a totally I'm allergic to microphones. It was really interesting because when you're used to acting with your feet, your body is expressing emotions. It's a very different thing when you're taking differently and you're not physical. And I never done that, but it's so fun because as a dancer and I just love the expressing your body, but I just never done it before. So I liked it. It forced me out of started on the same day at Howard. So we became really good friends instantly because we were kind of the new kids on the show. Yeah, we all worked together. Not that nobody else would eat lunch with us, but it was just one of those things. It was just, we didn't know the crew, we don't know everybody. Honestly, I always say this, we didn't really get to know each other until we went to go do a movie. Because we shot 20 episodes in 6 weeks. And then they shipped us to Australia. And then it was we're all by ourselves. It was just us. And then was the time we became friends. Because it was when you're in a foreign country, you're just we all would hang out. Amy and I would go, I don't know why we were obsessed with tarot card card readers. We would go to that like all the time. And yeah, we would just do stupid stuff.
During American Morphin, the range were always kept secret until Billy's was revealed and got sick. How did it feel to like break that tradition of having to keep that as a secret and learning who the rangers were?
Well, that was actually a snake bite. Because I got bit by one of those snakes. Which led to that.
How did you guys feel? I thought it was pretty obvious. I mean, I walk around with yellow every day. It's like,
Well, the greatest thing.
This was before you were.
okay.
So the greatest thing, and we talk about this on Voices from the Group, the greatest thing is like, it's like they hear the communicator go, oh, Zordon's calling. It's like, okay, we gotta go off to the side. You just go outside the juice bar into a corner, and it's like, what's up, Zordon? What's going on? And it's like, and then you hear, I'm like, you're really not hiding from anything. You're just right outside somebody's locker, okay? So it's like, it's one of the greatest questions of like, how did they keep their identity secret when they're like, really not hiding?
Right.
When they're talking to Zordon or they're transporting or morphine or something. It's always
I was always like, where are your parents? They're like gone for weeks at a time. They just like don't go to school. They leave class. Like, what is happening here? A lot of things weren't explained, right?
At season 1.
Movie magic.
Season 1 was the only time I think we ever saw pants.
Yeah, Aisha had parents at one point, and then I was like Kimberly moved in with me, and they were just like, what is happening? Anything was possible.
Any other questions from the audience? You sir in the back.
I guess for Nguyen, what was your favorite stunt character to do?
What's the favorite what?
Stunt and character.
I like the movie. The reason why was because it's really hard. I love a challenge. And the suit weighed him up, what, 35 pounds almost? So it was heavy. And I like the storyline. I love that. You know what I mean? It was so emotional attachments with him and everything. And I love being in Australia. The people over there were real nice. And it was a great time. So my favorite part is she was talking about the corkscrew kick. That was really cool. I'll tell you another story though. I was in one time, it looked like I was in a barbecue. And they put you in this barbecue thing and they spin. It's like they could have done a dummy to do it, right? But they put me to it. And one time the camera came close and it hit me. And I was screaming, well, hey, what are you doing? They stopped and then I had a little scar. I have a scar there from that movie. So I will always remember the movie.
Yeah, the stunts were bigger, better. It was like everything was like the sets were bigger, better, costumes, everything. I mean, these guys, I remember when we went to that one, it was like outside of Sydney. And we were like looking, the first week we go see it. And like that was a real place. Like that wasn't a set. Like there was literally an ocean that was crashing up against those rocks. And it was like,
Were you one of the Tango boys?
yeah, it was a tango board. And they were flying over this like ocean. I was like, I would have been terrified to do those things. They were like so like, I mean it was legit. They went all out.
You actually was
No, we did not. I know. It's like I know. I always break people's hearts. We didn't go skydiving because they couldn't insure the movie. So it's like honestly, they can never, like with the exception of Tom Cruise, they can never put the actor in real danger. So it's like they were literally talking about this. They were like, it would be our luck we kill one of the Power Rangers. So we cannot. So there was a whole team, the skydiving team who did the actual jump. But then we did like green screen, we did like crane, and we like did the landing. So we shot a lot of stuff so that you could think it was really us. That's why it was done so much.
Movie magic.
Movie magic, yes.
Any other questions? You sir in the back.
So we all go through things in life, and what would you guys tell yourselves now? Any advice for you guys to tell yourselves?
Just don't give up. You know, even though it's like, when times are tough, Jason always told me, we always go back and forth. And that's why I was so surprised what happened. But people always say, just keep on going, just do it. And I want to tell you something about Jason. He has so much energy. So much energy. He was the whole set.
fart bombs. And my dad used to like, you know the fart bomb?
Yeah.
Chris? So that was one of my dad's like funny things. He like to do that in the wall, put it behind like an elder lady. Like, I'd be like, Dad, what are you doing, man?
He literally, like the whole crew on the movie hated us. Like hated us. And it was all because of him. Like for 2 days, he'd have a water bottle and he'd pretend to sneeze. And he literally was like, achoo! And like every single person was like, and they couldn't say nothing because like he's like one of the leads of the movie. So they just were like the Australian crew hated us. And I was like, you're gonna poison our food. Stop it! And we were like begging him, please stop doing that. And like for a week, none of them knew it was a joke. So by the time they found out it was a joke, they didn't care because they were just pissed. And like literally we were like, oh my god, they hate us. They act like we're gonna be poisoned. We're not leaving this country alive.
Odeon 2012. Jason was there, and he told a story about filming at the movie, and he was talking about how him and Johnny would get on top of the vehicles and surf the vehicles as they're driving around.
He did that, and Johnny went out there, and they were like, you know how you're a stuck guy, and like they snuck out while our driver is driving us, and then Jason shut the window, so Johnny could not get back in. And you don't realize it's a lot faster than you think. Like he was like this outside. Me and Amy were like, and then he wouldn't let us open the window. He was like stopping us. We were screaming. Our hair hit the road. He was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Like, stop the car! Stop the car! Like I was like, Johnny's gonna die. He's literally gonna die.
So we have this gentleman right here in the black hair now.
Oh, hey, I was gonna ask, I know car racing was big back in the 90s. My main question was, why y'all would never nominate to Emmy? I feel how good the show was. Y'all should have got an Emmy.
Yeah, we were. I mean, it was a
kids TV show.
And I think the main reason was because it was a non-union show, and Emmys are for union projects. So I think that's the main reason.
Our director photographer, though, Elon, he got nominated for an Emmy. He did. He got it, but no. And then I think for Power Rangers for the cinematography. But what I think is like Power Rangers was great for you guys, but for adults, we weren't Emmy worthy. If they would have had Kid Choice Awards, we would have dominated back then. But they didn't even have that back then. Well, they had Nickelodeon, but it wasn't Nickelodeon. Right? It was the beginning. So, yeah, it just wasn't our time. Now we got all of you. You guys are our award. So we don't need Emmys, we need you.
All right, we can take one more question. Who wants to be on the award?
Dinner.
Make it count.
Which version of your father was your favorite? Why?
The White Ranger is my favorite.
Oh, I love that. Well, yeah, you like the movie.
The White Ranger. I love all the Rangers my dad played, but it has the white one for me is.
You're welcome. You know, before I want to say something about Jason one time. When he first came to the set, we were already working, and I made a prank on him. I think that's what happened. He started pranking everybody. But I told him I was a white belt, and he was holding the shield, and I kicked him so hard. He was, "You're not a white belt." And so it started this little thing with pranking everybody. So I remember on the set, we used to prank everybody on the set, and that's one thing I learned about it. It was very funny about it.
Okay, sorry, I'm going to take the last question away from you. Best prank on the set. So I'm sorry, you opened a can of worms here, okay? Just to throw that out there.
I think to this day, Catherine and Jason Harvey and Polly own the best prank, period. Like, when Catherine first got on the show, the guys, like, one day they were like, Catherine went into her dressing room, everything was normal. She went to set, when she came back to her dressing room, all the furniture from all the dressing rooms were in her room. It was all, like, she could, like, every couch, every chair was in her room. She's like, oh my God, she goes back to set, she comes back, everything is empty, her whole room is empty. And like this went on a whole day. Like every time she'd walk in, there would be something else. And she thought, well, I'm gonna get them back. I'm And so she got some shaving cream and she put it in Jason Narby's cowboy boots. He didn't talk to her for a week. He was so pissed. He was so mad. His cowboy boots were like his it was like his precious. He was so mad. Like we've never seen Jason Narby mad. He was mad at Catherine. She was like, how could you do that to my cowboy boots? that to me, I mean, it was, we were just like, oh my God, like all day it was insane. I don't even know how they had the time to do that. To clear out everybody's dressing room, all the furniture in the room.
It was more like hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
Hurry up and wait. You want to share?
I got one he did to.
Yes.
Alright, so I don't know if you guys know how nasty like pure cranberry juice is. Like I'm talking about like the purest cranberry juice. It's really bad. So it's really good for you. But my dad was coming up the stairs with this big smirk on his face, and he was just laughing. And he told me and my brothers, if you guys finish this cup, like I'll give you $100, dude. So he had all this cash. And we're like, heck yeah, like. Bro, me and my brothers threw up all upstairs, all the way to the bathroom, and my dad thought it was the funniest thing ever. So yeah, my dad used to always trick us with stuff like that. It was so nasty.
And nobody got the $100.
No, I took a little sip when I threw up all upstairs. Yeah, it was the worst tasting thing ever. But he knew it was, because he was like, you would drink this for $100?
That's him, right?
Yeah.
So with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming to the MMPR panel. Thank you, Skye, Hien, Karan, and also one last thing, ladies and gentlemen, please, and this is something that Ben does, I do, Sasha does as well, but you will see her at the 5 o'clock panel for in space. But if you see a volunteer, make sure you thank them. They dedicate their time to make sure that you're able to enjoy this show here this weekend. Volunteer staff members say thank you because they put in a lot of work for you. Thank you.